Yeah, 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 uh, yeah, it's your boy E-Man, Falcons Fandemic, we on that plan, all the hype in the city, let me break it down. Atlanta Falcons, wear the crown, cruising down Peachtree in my Falcons gear, pockets on the speakers, E-Man's here, covering the news, all the buzz on the block, Fandemic family, yeah, we can't be stopped, yeah.
Rise up, Dirty Birds. Welcome back to the ultimate huddle for the truest fans in all of NFL football. This is your host, E-Man of the Atlanta Falcons Fandemic, the true voice of all who live and breathe this team. Guys, let me start right here first. I can take it. My guys didn't win today, but guess what? It's okay. It's okay. My Falcons won last week, so we're going to ride that high until the next game, until we going in to see San Fran, right? But guys, I got one for you today. We're going to talk about something that I don't think has happened ever in history. Even during our Super Bowl runs, I don't think this has ever happened. But look, for years, the narrative in Atlanta has been kind of iffy and complicated, right? Talent has always been here, flashes of brilliance, but the ultimate question has always lingered. What is the fate of the Atlanta Falcons? Well, Pandemic Nation, I'm here to tell you that the conversation has fundamentally shifted. We are no longer talking about the potential of the Falcons. We are no longer talking about the ifs of the Falcons. We are talking about the true power of the Falcons, the elite power of the Falcons. I mean, the buzz is real. The media is not talking about it. A lot of us fans are not talking about it. But guess what? I am here to talk about it, let you know, let you in on it. The tape doesn't lie. We are witnessing the ascension of a squad built with rare and frightening balance. Finally, the defense on one side of the ball has absolutely acclaimed elite status. A unit built on speed, relentless pressure, and the secondary that can shut down the league's best. They are stifling, suffocating, and undeniable foundation of this team's new identity. And then you flip the script to the offensive side. A dynamic, explosive group armed with weapons at every position, orchestrating a scheme that maximizes their all-world talent, even without Darnell Mooney. We have shown elite power. Even without Ray McCloud, we have shown elite power. And this is only using basically two weapons with a backup in Tyler Algier. Drake London, Bijan Robinson, and Michael Penix are carrying this team on the offense. And every now and again, you throw in a little bit of Tyler Algier. They are putting up numbers, carving up defenses, and demonstrating that same elite consistency. Can that consistency last throughout the season? That's the key point. So the question isn't if the Falcons are a threat, but how far this balanced, elite, acclaimed machine can fly. So tonight, we're going to dive into the film, the stats, and the feeling that this is finally our year. Because I myself, guys, I truly have faith that this is our year. We're going to sneak in there. I'm not going to say we're going to sneak in there, but we're going to take some games by storm like we did the Buffalo Bills, right? We're going to win some close ones by field goals, naturally so. That's our identity. But I have a feeling that we're going to get past the divisional championship. I mean, I really do. I think we're going to go on into the conference and contend. But let's talk about the fate of the Falcons and why that fate now looks golden. Let's get into it. So if you have said that 5 weeks ago into the end of season, the Atlanta Falcons will be a statistical powerhouse, I don't think anyone would have believed you. Not just good. I mean, you're not talking about just a little bit better, but a team that on paper looks like one of the most dominant forces in the league, right? We have always looked good on paper, right? But now we're looking at this team, like I just said, weapons on all corners with a quarterback that can be as elite as some of the top-ranked quarterbacks in the league. And quite frankly, I think he's a future MVP. This is a franchise that has been haunted by inconsistency, heartbreaking losses, and seemingly endless search for an identity since the last playoff run in 2017. I think our identity has been solidified this year. And yet here we are, and the numbers are a telling story that is almost impossible to wrap your head around. The Atlanta Falcons currently have the #1 defense in the entire NFL when it comes to total yards allowed. At the same time, our offense is putting up a ton of yards too. So the title of this video seems to check out, right? A #1 ranked defense and a high-flying offense. That's the recipe of a juggernaut, contrary to what the media is saying. But if that's the whole story, why are the Falcons sitting at a painfully average 3-2? How can a team be so good moving the ball and stopping the other team from moving it, yet have a record that screams, meh? Yeah, that's the forte of the Falcons. That's the reputation of the Falcons. But this is the great Falcons paradox. In this video, we're not just scratching the surface. We're going to go into a deep dive into the film, the schemes, the analytics to unravel the mystery of the 2025 Atlanta Falcons. We'll break down how Jeff Albrecht and the defense became a yardage-eating machine, how Zach Robinson finally is racking up yards on the offense despite our record. And most importantly, we'll expose the shocking disconnect between our stats and the scoreboard. A disconnect that's holding this team back from truly being called elite. But let's rewind a bit. Coming into the 2025 season, the feeling in Atlanta was always cautious and optimism with a whole lot of pressure. I think a whole lot of that pressure is not from the teams, but the pressure that we put on ourselves to meet expectations. The front office went all in. They signed veteran quarterback Kirk Cousins to a massive 4-year, $180 million deal with $100 million guaranteed. It was a crystal clear move to win now. The rebuilding phase was officially over. The plan was simple. Let a high-level veteran take control of an offense loaded with young, explosive talent. But then the draft happened. A decision sent a tremor through the league. With the 8th overall pick, the Falcons grabbed quarterback Michael Penix Jr. in the first round. When an injury sidelined Cousins, the future showed up way sooner than expected. Penix, the rookie out of Washington, was thrown into the fire and handed the keys to a brand new offense under a brand new offensive coordinator, Zach Robinson. Then this set the stage for one of the most fascinating experiments in the league. You have a team built to win now, a defense retooled for pure aggression, and an offense designed by a rising star from the Sean McVay coaching tree. Everyone expected a good offense and a better defense, but nobody predicted the statistical roller coaster that was about to unfold for our team. Honestly, the single biggest shock of the season has been the ridiculous transformation of the Atlanta defense under Jeff Albrecht. After turning the tide over at New York Jets into a top-tier unit, Albrecht came back to Atlanta and installed a system that has been nothing short of suffocating. Through the first 5 games, the Falcons defense ranks #1 in the NFL in total yards allowed, giving up a ridiculously low 253 yards per game. To give you some perspective, at this point last year, we were 18th, giving up over 330 yards every single game. The heart of this dominance is the pass defense, which is also ranked #1 in the league, allowing a measly 139.4 yards through the air. Albrecht's 3 and 4 scheme is a masterclass and discipline, tactical aggression designed to confuse the heck out of the opposing quarterbacks. I mean, his entire vision and philosophy is built around one thing: eliminating the big plays, eliminating the explosive plays, the long yardage plays. They have allowed the fewest plays of 10 or more yards in the entire NFL. They just don't give up cheap yards. So this isn't a fluke, guys. It's by design. The front office brought in veteran edge rusher Leonard Floyd and drafted promising rookies like Jalen Walker, James Pierce Jr., Billy Bowman Jr., Xavier Watts. And the end result, through 5 games, the Falcons have racked up 14 sacks on a pace to be number 1 in the league. The pressure is constant. When you mix the pass rush with elite coverage from guys like A.J. Terrell, you get a defense that forces quarterbacks into bad decisions, much like what we saw against the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen. And we talked about it in the previous videos, right? We talked about getting Josh Allen out of the pocket, not so he can make plays with his legs, but so he can make bad decisions. See, we can flush him out the pocket, but Josh Allen is that type of quarterback. He still makes plays with using his legs. But our mission was to get the heat on Josh Allen, get the pressure on him, and consistently get it on him until he starts making bad decisions. And that he did. But here's where that paradox starts to creep in. Despite being number 1 in yards allowed, right? Despite being number 1 allowed in the yards allowed, the Falcons are 11th in points allowed per game at 20. Now, 11th is respectable, right? But it doesn't quite match the historic yardage numbers, does it? You're talking about a team that is number 1 and holding teams back in the offense. Yet we allow the most points, right? So we've been vulnerable in the red zone. When teams do get close, they tend to find the end zone. So while the defense is elite at making teams march the length of the field, the magic starts to fade when our backs are up against the wall, up against the goal line. This is the first major crack in the Falcons' armor. So far, it has been holding up, right? But like I said, we average 20 points per game, giving up 20 points per game. At the same time, we holding these teams back when it's time to make plays. So let's flip it over to the offensive side, the illusion of the firepower, right? Because this is where the mystery gets really weird. Under offensive coordinator Zach Robinson, the Falcons' offense looks electric between the 20s. They're putting up nearly 380 yards per game. But here's the catch. That impressive number only makes them the 17th ranked offense in the league in total yards. The running game with the 1-2 punch of Bijan Robinson and Tyler Algier is a solid top 10 unit that can control the ball. I think top 10, I think we're number 1, right? I think we got the best running back room in the NFL, bar none. It's not even close. We're talking about Tyler Algier. We're talking about Bijan Robinson, Nathan Carter. And if you want to get all the way down to the practice squad, we got Tyrone Corbin. You're talking about elite runners who are ready to go at a moment's call. But Zach Robinson's scheme is built on that of the wide zone run foundation, which he learned from Sean McVay with a pass-heavy twist. With a quarterback like Michael Penix, who has an absolute cannon of an arm, the big play potential is always there. We've seen him develop a great connection with Drake London, who is looking every bit the part of a true number 1 target. The yardage numbers sound good, right? A top 10 rushing attack, a mid-tier total offense. So how can someone please explain to me why the Atlanta Falcons are ranked 24th in the league in scoring? Number 1 in offense. Number 2 in offense, yet we're ranked 24th in the league in scoring. Spells red zone problems. We have to do more in the red zone. But no, that's not a typo, guy. That is for real. We're the number 2 defense. I'm sorry, the number 1 offense in the league. I mean, number 2 offense in the league. Yet we're dead. Well, almost dead last. So we were 24th in the league in scoring. A team that moves the ball at a decent clip is one of the worst league at actually putting points on the board, averaging just 20 points a game. The disconnect is jarring and it points to a massive flaw in the execution. Like I said, spells problems in the red zone. And so far this year, it seems like that red zone has grown to be further out, since we're even having problems getting down to close to the 30 or inside the 30. But head coach Raheem Morris even said it himself. We got all these yardage things, and that's what he called it. We've got all these yardage things and all this stuff that doesn't matter. And he's right. Yards are cool, but points win the game. So my question to Raheem Morris is, what are you prepared to do about it? And they used to say back in, when I was growing up, and they still say it in many cases, talk is cheap, right? But the main culprit seems to be the red zone meltdown, nonetheless. The Falcons are one of the worst teams in the NFL when it comes to scoring touchdowns inside the 20-yard line. We march up and down the field all day long. But as soon as we get close to that 20 or inside the 20, we stall out for some reason. The offense just shuts down. It's like they play with the beautiful efficiency from the own 20 down to the opponent's 20. But that last 20 yards might as well be a mile long. But guys, if you're fascinated by this Falcon paradox, as I am, and you want more deep dives into the X and O's of the NFL or the X and O's of the Atlanta Falcons, do me a favor and smash that subscribe button. We break down the league, like nobody else, and you're not going to miss nothing if you hit that subscribe button. Also, while you're at it, hit the like button so everybody can help find this channel. We love talking Falcon football. We love doing it with you guys. You guys are what fuel this channel. So please help this video, hit the algorithm, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and hit the share button. All right. So let's get back into it. So how does this happen? How does a team that's so good moving the ball up and down the field be so bad when it comes to the red zone? How can a team that have the number 1 yardage defense in the league yet be stuck at 500? The answer is that the Falcons aren't one elite team. There are 2 highly specialized, highly flawed units wearing the same uniform. The defensive style, while incredible at swallowing up yards, puts a ton of pressure on the offense to be perfect. And that's what you want, because they are more likely to give up the touchdowns in the red zone. Any offensive mistake that gives up an opponent gives an opponent short field is a killer. The defense can hold a team to 200 total yards, but if 50 of those yards come after a turnover inside the Falcons' territory, it's probably going to result in points. On the other side, the offensive inability to finish drives is absolutely crippling the defense. When your offense grinds out a 70-yard drive only to settle for a field goal or worse, a turnover on downs, it's a soul-crushing momentum swing. It forces a defense that was just getting a breather to run back out there and often back up and with their backs up against the wall, their own goal, completely wiping out the yardage advantage that they worked so hard to create. But Michael Penix has shown that he has the arm talent. The growing pains are obvious. He's a rookie, technically. Through 5 games, he's thrown for 6 touchdowns, but also has 4 interceptions. The team is the ultimate case study, and it's the difference between potential and production. The yardage stats show that what could be, the scoreboard tells you what we are. Right? So in conclusion, guys, the 2025 Atlanta Falcons are easily the most confusing fascinating, frustrating team in the NFL. They're a statistical anomaly, a powerhouse on the stat sheet that plays like an average team on Sunday. They're our team. Jeff Albrecht has built a defensive monster that eats yards for breakfast. Zach Robinson has an offense that can move the ball. But we have that fatal flaw, and it's simple. Execution when it matters the most in that red zone. The defense gives up touchdowns when the field gets short, and the offense can't seem to score them when we're given the short field. They've shown flashes that they can hang with the tough opponents, like we did with the Buffalo Bills and Tampa Bay. We lost that game, but we still hung with them, right? But we were proving that what's possible is if on both sides of the ball finally click in the big moments, what could possibly happen, like what we did to the Buffalo Bills. But the question for the rest of the season is pretty simple. Is this fixable? Can Zach Robinson and Michael Penix Jr. solve the red zone puzzle and turn those empty yards into points? Can the defense learn to tighten up when they're put in a tight spot, tough spot rather? The blueprint for a contender is right here, and the numbers are right there. They just have to figure out how to win, how to finish these games. So what do you think? Is this the Falcons team? Is this Falcons team a true contender, hiding in plain sight? Or are they statistical mirage designed to finish the year stuck in neutral? Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. So guys, there it is. Finally, we spent this time dissecting the absolute transformation of this team. We talked about the number one defense, number two offense, but the conversation is over. The days of the Falcons are built for the next year, and we're not talking about next year anymore. We're talking about right now, leading to next year. We're living for the now. The expectations are huge, but we have the team that can step up. I mean, we're rocking with the number one defense, like I just said, that is fundamentally young, fast, and very hungry. You see the urgency out on the field when these rookies are out there. Rookies like Xavier Watts, Jalen Walker, James Pierce Jr., Billy Bowman Jr. I mean, they're already leading the charge. And then you got to back them up, veteran stars like Jesse Bates, A.J. Terrell, Caden Ellis, who are all in their prime. This is a defense that will only get more dominant. Think about the continuity. A defense that can execute Jeff Albrecht's aggressive vision for the next 5 seasons. Think about the growth that this team, if they stay healthy and we're able to keep these guys together, think about the chemistry that will be with this defense. And the same thing goes for the offense. If we keep everybody together, granted, we may not be able to keep Tyler Algier, right? But we have 2 more guys that could very well step up and give us the production that Tyler Algier brings. I mean, you have to admit, Nathan Carter showed us a lot in the preseason. But this means that our sustained top-tier production and the counter of championship-level defense that keeps you in every single game. Every single game, the defense steps up. Right? You see more and more of the upside. You see more and more of the improvement. Right? And then you're on the other side. The number 2 offense is a true offensive ecosystem. This unit is built around the generational talent of Bijan Robinson, the rising star power of Drake London, the game-changing potential of Kyle Pitts, and the rapid, exciting development of our quarterback, Michael Penix Jr. What does the future hold? It's simple. Explosive consistency. You got a team full of young guys that can sit there and actually grow together, who are all working on a sustainable contract. Now, granted, Drake London is going to command some money here in a second. So will Bijan. And if Tyler Algier decides he wants to stay here, we're going to have to find some money for him. Right? But the run game that never stops, a passing game that can hit every level, and an offensive line that is built to protect. And speaking of offensive line, I'm sorry, I forgot to tell you guys that our offensive line also has been considered elite. With all the problems that we have, our offensive line is considered to be top 10 in the NFL. We are now, because I mean, this has never happened for the Falcons, guys. This has never happened. A number one defense with a number one secondary, with a number two offense, with an elite offensive line. God, this is history in the making. But this isn't a flash in the pan. This is a foundation that is built to compete in January and beyond. You talk about, I'm telling you, this is gearing up to be, I'm not going to say that we're going to be the next Kansas City Chiefs, right? But I'm really thinking 2 Super Bowls. And that's my honest assessment, guy. This is not coming from a guy who's just a longtime fan of the Falcons. I'm thinking 2 Super Bowls out of this team if we keep everybody together. Now, we're going to lose a couple of people, right? I mean, today we're getting news about Raymond McLeod, who may not be here, going into the future. But we have guys that can step up from the practice squad: Nick Nash, Chris Blair, that can Dylan Drummond, that can come in and play wide receiver and fill the spot that's going to be left over by Raymond McLeod. Then there's a report that we're going to go after Waddle from Miami. How true that is, I don't know. My personal opinion, I like Jacoby Myers better, but we're not talking about that right now. That's for another video, right? But the future of the Falcons is simple, guys. It's not just about winning the NFC South anymore. It's about having a team that can line up against any squad in the league, offense or defense, and say, you can't do what we do. Guys, thank you so much, each and every one of you, my loyal Pandemic subscribers and supporters who ride with us each week, day in and day out. You are the heartbeat of the Dirty Birds, and the passion fuels this content. Keep the comments coming, guys. I answer each and every one. Keep that energy high. Never stop believing. We'll be back next time to break down the chapter of this incredible season. And until then, guys, stay loud, stay proud, and as always, rise.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's your boy E-Man. Falcons Pandemic, we on that plan. All the hype in the city, let me break it down. Atlanta Falcons, wear the crown.